Hello, welcome back. Hammers Polls, final roundup of all player ratings for the 2020-2021 season. Say that with a mouthful.
Yeah, like that.
Lads, Mike, Tom, how you doing? And what an amazing season.
Yeah, fantastic,
you're right,
mate.
mate.
Yeah,
Brilliant season.
it makes such a change, doesn't it, from what we've been going through over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. I mean, okay, yeah, we did have, 2015 was a good season, but I mean, since then we've really struggled, haven't we? And it was just made a really nice change to have that pressure off.
Tom, where do you think it's gone right? Where do you think it's gone right this year, West Ham? In your opinion?
Just everything, mate. To be honest, it's just all clicked, isn't it? From the recruitment to the coaching staff and the team Moyes has built around himself, and just bringing that the work effort, the great team spirit there we've got. I think it's been obviously great, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, mate. It has. Like, don't get me wrong, I've watched West Ham all my life, and I've never seen a team spirit like this, ever.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? It's always some sort of drama happening there. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's the upstairs or it's on the pitch. But yeah, I must admit, I agree with you. Like, it has been first class this year. But let's get into it and let's rate this man at the start, Mr. Lucas Fabianski. What I'll do, I'll start off with Mike, and I'll go Tom, and then we'll go round. Yeah. Sweet.
No problem,
Mike, give me a rating out of 10, mate. No half marks on this show.
No half marks, mate. No, I love Fab, and he's had some great seasons for us. And he's not had a bad season this year, but a couple of times he broke down before the game, the Newcastle game. It just let him down a little bit. But don't get me wrong. I mean, we lost the 3 points that day, but he saved us so many points over the season. He's been a great keeper, and he still is. It's just his fitness now that worries us a bit. But, yeah, I'll give him a 7 for what he's done this year. Just a little bit disappointing in a couple of games. But, hey, a keeper make mistake. It's in the back of the net, isn't it? And it just shows up so much more. I think that hurt him, that Newcastle game, and you could see it, But yeah, I think I'll stick with a 7 on him, mate.
Tom?
I'm going to give him an 8, mate. I think he's had a really consistent season. I think he just gets kind of got better with age. Makes keeping look easy. You get another keeper like when Randolph comes in, and you think, wow, that just Fabianski makes it look so easy for me. I know his kicking is not his strongest point, but I mean, we get away with that a bit. Obviously, he made a mistake against Newcastle. Apart from that, the one blaring error comes out to me, really. I mean, what other mistakes has he made, to be honest? I remember the home game against Newcastle. I think I questioned one of the goals from the crosses a bit when Wilson got in. I thought perhaps he could have done better. But apart from that, I think he's been superb. As Dad said there, the injuries have obviously hurt us a bit. But luckily, when Randolph came in, he did okay. So yeah, I'm going to give him an 8, and I think he's done well. I think it's a position we need to look at with him. Was he 36 now, James? At 36?
Yeah. Next year be his last year, I think.
Yeah.
It's his last season, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good he's got that. So he got one year deal again, didn't he? He got
1 year deal, yeah.
Yeah, which I think was a good decision. I think he's done well, and I think he'll be playing with us, play a lot of games next year again, I can imagine.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I agree with you. I agree with a 7. I think he's been good. Don't get me wrong, but it's the injuries with me. That's the only thing that sort of niggles away at me. And maybe one of them games sort of didn't really affect us, so to speak, but they could have done. Like, if we got Randolph in goal for a long time, then we might have a bit of problem. But let's get on to Randolph. I think he's not a bad backup myself. I don't think he's a starter. I think he's good enough to be a backup, but not a starter. Mike, give me a rating, mate.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6. The one game he came in, couldn't kick the ball. I can't remember what game that was. Was that Everton? Another one where Fabianski broke down, but he seemed to have a problem there. But I mean, he's done well when he's come in, but obviously he's not played many games. He hasn't let us down. He's made 2 or 3 brilliant saves in the last few games, and maybe I'm a bit harsh giving him a 6, but yeah, even those games that he came in, his cover, and we ended up having the centre half was having to take the goal kicks. I think he may have had a problem, but obviously he obviously had a problem there, and but that improved in the last couple of games when he stepped in. So yeah, he's done all right, but for me, I'm afraid I'll give him a 6.
6 out of 10 for Mike. Tom?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give him a 6 as well. He's come in and he's won the games he's played. He's made some good saves, hasn't he? Saved us for that West Brom, that big save against West Brom. Just worries me when he's in there, like especially from the crosses. Like every time when Randolph's in goal, the team has a corner. I'm worried that it's going to end up in the back of the net. He hasn't got that presence like perhaps Fabianski's got claiming the crosses. But in terms of shot stopping, he's decent, isn't he? And like you say, he's not bad. He's not a bad backup at all. He's done it right when he's played, hasn't he? He's another one, like with his age again. I think he's 35. I think he might be now.
Yeah, so, he is in his mid-30s, man. My age, 34, 35.
We desperately need to get a younger keeper in, don't we?
Yeah.
And I think a younger keeper could learn quite a bit off Randolph and especially Fabianski. So
I think
to work with.
I agree with you both there. I think this summer, we have to look for a keeper. I think it's a bit of a risk when you've got 2 goalkeepers who are injured. I don't think I've ever seen that at any club. It happens at ours, like the goalkeeper gets injured. But I agree with you both. I think he gets a bit of bad press for who he is. For not like no one will say about the great save he done at West Brom. They will criticise him for the goal that goes in. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you, lads. This man, Vladimir Coufal, take it away.
For me, he's a player of the season for me. This guy, what a bargain of the season. I said it on Jake's the other night. I mean, this guy has come in and I just can't remember a mistake he's made all season. He's been so steady. He's gone forward well. He's put some great crosses into the box. He's got just something about him. He rolls his sleeves up. He gets everyone going. I should imagine he's absolutely brilliant in the change room with the rest of the lads and the togetherness that what we've had this year. And a lot of that has been down to him, I think, or him and the likes. I'll give him 9. And to be honest, he's just got one problem, and that is when he gets in front of goal and he's a bit like a rabbit in the headlights, I'm afraid. But if he had that, then for me, he's probably a 10, because the guy has had such a good season. He's not there to score goals. He's there to stop them, and he's been doing that. And he had, I know it was a bit of a double-up job, but he had Grealish in his pocket. No one has skinned him all season. He has been so solid back there. And it's so great. We've been crying out for a right back like that. And, I think we got a great signing there. I really do. And I hope he's around for a few years to come.
Evening, Freshfielder. How you doing? Tom, take it away, mate. Give your rating out of 10.
Well, 9 out of 10 as well. Absolutely brilliant signing. A position we've struggled to fill with quality over the years, and that right back's been a problem position for us. And he's come in and he hit the ground running. Was it Leicester's debut, wasn't it? Leicester away?
Yeah, Leicester away,
solid debut, and he's there ever present, and he's a warrior. He's an excellent defender, 1-on-1. He occasionally might get beaten, I've noticed, but that'll be it. He'll get beaten perhaps once by the winger, and that'll be it. And really impressed with his composure on the ball. Sometimes he'll get the ball under, and he's got that composure. He's not in a rush. We'll give it easy, or play a nice pass. Yeah, it's absolute quality. Surprised me. I think he's one of those that's got better over the years. Like looking back on the games he's played for other teams and that, he's obviously 28 now, and he hasn't played that many games Czech Republic. He's come from lower leagues, and then he's just been absolutely brilliant in the Premier League for us, hasn't he? Absolute top signing, and there's obviously talks about it, perhaps getting an extension on a contract, which I think is great news because he's like Dad said, you can imagine playing with him. He's great in change rooms, great person to play with. His attitude is spot on. Professionalism, attitude is just it's an absolute pleasure. I mean, it's brilliant for West Ham for us to get him, and obviously it must be loads of other clubs looking back now in the Premier League thinking, well, we'd love to have signed this guy for £5 million. Absolutely top signing. Good work from Souček.
I must admit, I must admit, I agree with you. I think he's my ham of the year. And I'll be disappointed if he don't get it. I think for what the money he cost, coming to a new league, learning a new language, he took to everything like duck to water. Do you know what I mean? So I don't. The only thing I will ask you is, and I'll ask you both this quickly before we move on to the next player, is what would it have to be for him to be a 10? Because to me, I think he's had a 10 out of 10 performance, personally.
Yeah, it's just it gets in front of goal, mate, and it's frightening to death. He don't know he just don't make the right decision, and when he does, his shooting is not brilliant. If he could just maybe add a few goals to his game, he's if he'd have scored a couple of goals, I probably would have given him a 10.
He made a lot of the teams of the season, didn't he? On Sky Sports, I was reading a lot of the pundits' team of the season, and what did he get? 7 assists, wasn't it? Good quality, wasn't it?
Yeah, he just gets into the box sometimes.
He's just not quite a 10 for you boys, but we'll get on to Fredericks, and here he is. Before I start on this is a man who was our right back. Obviously, Kufal come in and tore it up. Frederick's been here a few years now. He's been here since 2018, I believe. Right, so he's been here. Pellegrini signing, yeah. How do you assess his ratings for this season?
I'll give him a 6, to be honest. He's come in and he did a couple of jobs. I mean, he's been pushed out of the team, hasn't he, by Sufel. He's been used, sporadically here and there. He's been thrown on as a sub. His pace got us out of trouble on occasions, and he's also, set up a few goals, with his pace. But pace is not enough on its own, I'm afraid. He's not a good enough right back in a back four for me. And I'm afraid, I mean, even as a backup now, I don't know. I think he'd be one of the ones I would, I'd let go. He's done all right for us. But I think if we're looking to move on into the next level, I think that's, well, we've probably got one there anyway, haven't we, to replace him? So it's a worry, really.
What'd you rate him, Mike?
I'll give him a 6.
Give him a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I have to give him a 6 as well. I'd say, give him a 6. He's done okay, and I think the injuries over the last 2-3 years haven't helped him out. To be honest, he's very injury prone, isn't he? Let's be honest. He'll come in and have a good game, then he'll get injured and he'll be out for like 4 or 5 games again. But he's just not. He's got the pace, like Dad said. His pace is a massive asset, isn't it? Going forward and helping us out the back, but just hasn't got the quality on the ball for me, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I agree with these lads. I really do. I really do.
I don't dislike him, mate. As a backup, as a squad player, I think, I'm happy to have him there next year again.
The only thing that does it with me is he can't defend. And as a defender, it's like a striker saying he can't put the ball in the net. Do you know what I mean? But he doesn't pick up the ball well. It's like, to me, he's just not a good defender. And I look at it that if I agree with Mike on that, if we're going to the next level, we need to get next level players, and I just don't see it with him personally. But I agree with you, that's totally. But another right back, I feel sorry for this lad. I was going to say this, I do. He's played left back, left wing back, defensive midfield. He's a right footer. How do you assess him, Mike?
Yeah, it's quite unfair to give him a mark, really, because he's been thrown in, like you said, got chucked in the middle of the midfield there once. I think this lad, there's a player in there with him. I think he's a good defender. When he's played as a right back in a back four, on occasions, he's had some really good games. But been used as a left wing back, and he's not quite good enough on the ball yet for me. But he can learn that. He can get that, because his defensive side of his game, I think, is good enough. Yeah. So I'm happy to keep hold of him, and Europa League and everything. He could get He could get a lot of chances next year. Can't give him no more than a 6, which is a shame, really, because he's a better player than that. But that's all I can give him on what's happened this year, I'm afraid.
Before I ask Tom for his rating, I just want to quickly ask you, if he goes out on loan next season, and I'll ask Tom and then go back to Mike. If he goes out on loan, will you be disappointed? Tom.
Well, I think we're going to need to keep him, mate. Like, yeah, it would be because if Soufal gets injured, for me, like with Frederick's injury record, like for me, to be honest, Johnson probably he's next in line, really, isn't he?
Yeah.
Can't trust Frederick, so I think you need to keep him, mate. So yeah, well, I think it would be disappointed, although it'd probably be good for him. But again, we're going to have more games, so hopefully we'll get some more minutes next season. I think he's done all right when he's played.
Yeah, I agree.
It all depends on who we bring in, mate, isn't it, at the end of the day?
Yeah.
I mean, if we bring someone in, then yeah, maybe it would be good for him to go on loan to a championship club or something. But I'd like to keep him because I can see a player in there, and I think he's one for the future.
Yeah, I agree. Tom, what's your rating on Mr. Ben Johnson?
Johnson, I'll give him 6 out of 10. I think he's like you guys said, out of position on the left. It doesn't suit him when he's played right back. To be fair, at the end of was it a Watford game last year? Yeah. Man United side the season before. Sorry, I thought he was brilliant when Mark Rashford at the end of the season at Old Trafford played right back. It's been tough going. Been tough going for him this season when he has played. Like playing on that left, it's a hard position, isn't it, when you're so right-footed like he is, especially wing back. But like Dad said, I think his defending, what we've seen, looks pretty decent for the level, and he's got that good pace. So yeah, let's hope he's here next year. I can't see us signing another right back, obviously, especially with Soufal's form this season. So I think they'd be very reluctant to send him out on loan. But you never know with especially with our owners, do you? You never know what's going to happen.
You never know, mate. It's like an episode of EastEnders, but I agree with you, Tom. I really do. Aaron Cresswell. 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it's all rolled back to when we was playing Wimbledon and teams like that and getting hammered, and Wigan and Oxford away and things like that. Everyone was calling for him to go and a service that Ogbonna would be gone. How do you assess him there, like this season?
He's done brilliantly. It's been his best season for a long, long time, especially when he's played left-hand side in a back three. But we've gone back to a back four on these last few games, and his lack of pace gets found out with balls over the top. I think he's had a really good season. Don't get me wrong. And, sort of probably 80% of the season, for me, he's earned an 8. But I can just see if we're going to a back four, it worries me the amount of times he gets caught out with a ball over the top and he's just stranded with his lack of pace. Positioning sense wise, he's good enough. He's great, and he's so good on the ball and some great deliveries. So many assists and that free kick the other night. I mean, he's so unlucky with that free kick when he against
the post, yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean the guy's got that in him. But I think we need to sign another left back. Full stop.
So what's your rating, Matt?
I'll still give him an 8 because he's had an outstanding season.
8 scored for Cresswell. Tom, what's your rating of Cresswell, mate?
I'm going to give him 8 out of 10, mate. I think he's been brilliant, superb season for him. Absolute quality, 8 assists. And never question his defending. Like Dad says, positional sense. Defending is actually, I think it's decent. It's just struggles with a lack of pace a bit, which is so unfortunate because he's got a lovely touch on the ball. His delivery is absolute quality. Passing is good. Like if he just had that pace, he probably wouldn't be playing for us, would he? But I think he's been excellent, mate. And whether it's in the back three, it does obviously suit him, perhaps. But yeah, we definitely need a left back, don't we?
Yeah,
definitely a left back. But yeah, fair play to him because I kind of writ him off, when he was playing left back before last season, and he obviously wasn't doing brilliant, and he's proved me wrong as such. So I'm happy to do that. If they're going to prove us wrong, I'm more than happy that for West Ham players to prove me wrong.
I agree, mate.
It'd be interesting to see how he gets on next season, wouldn't it? Because he loves the club and that, and he's a good loyal servant to the club, and it's good to see players that have a good season, isn't it? I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree, and then I do the same. I don't agree with him with his defending. Like in a 5, I think he's very, very good. I must admit, I will agree on that. As a left back, I think sometimes they target him. One of the games this season, I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game where they couldn't get past Kufal, so they went down Cresswell's side. And I think it was Leicester.
Yeah.
And they was absolute all over him before he got injured. And I agree. A left back's needed at the club, and I 100% agree with you lads on that. But from one left back to another one, I'm not a fan. I'm just really ain't. He's been here 6 years or 5.5 years, or whatever it is. He hasn't got any better, in my opinion. Give me a rating, lads. Start with Mike.
Mate. He just switches off, doesn't he? I mean, when he plays left back, I mean, when he tapped Salah that time, Salah just waiting for it, and he knew it was coming. And he's just at times he just switches off. And you think, oh, he's just so dopey. What are you doing, man? And what game was it? Was it the Arsenal game when he got caught
Leicester.
on the ball again?
Leicester,
he got caught on the ball again. Great skills going forward. I mean, but for me, I think it's time for him to go. I mean, I don't think he's going to improve us. I don't see where we can go forward with him, to be totally honest, mate. And it's great. You turn 2 or 3 people inside out, and and blah blah blah. But there's not often an end product after that. So I got to give him a 5. I'm afraid, mate.
Tom,
you boys might disagree with this, but I think when he has played this season at left wing back, I think he's been pretty good, to be fair. He's made the odd mistake, like you say, the Leicester game he got nicked off him and they scored. But you think the 2 Leicester games he started, they wing back, beat him both times. I know he made a mistake, but in general, he had quite a good game, especially because he came back from injury in that game. 2 Wolves games, beat him both times. He played left wing back, and I thought he had good games in both. And again, he only just come back from injury in the second one. So I'm going to give him 7 out of 10. I know completely what Dad's saying about his defending, the switching off, but he does give you that option to change your formation, which is needed in certain games, and Moyes likes that. And
do you see him getting better any time?
So him improving?
Yeah.
No, exactly. He's not going to improve. He's at fault. For me, you got to kind of. I know this might not sound the best, but you got to think his defender's not going to get any better. But you just got to use him as how the best you can use him at the moment where he's at the club. Because going forward, his skills are very very good. Dribbling ability, quality, but then again, I don't love playing the wing back, so I'd rather play forward back. So he doesn't fit in that formation, obviously.
What before we move on to another player, how do you see it with Masuaku? What position would you say is his ideal position? Because even that left wing back, I know he carries the ball up the pitch, but he gets out of position quite a lot. Where he does go forward, he's so gung ho going forward. He don't think. And then he leaves the space in behind. Where do you see his best position?
I think that's the best position for him. Where he has played for us left wing back. I don't think he's not good. He's not good enough defensively left back. Let's be honest, he's not really going to affect the game enough as a left forward. He's a left wing back. He's a squad player. Like, I can see why you guys are happy for him to move on, but obviously he's such a skillful, entertaining player, and I enjoy watching him play. But I completely understand what you boys are saying about him.
I must admit, I'd look at it like this before we move on. I look at it, if we was to sell him and buy someone else younger, I think the person who's younger could do a better job. Like, I know he's got the skills and all that, but the sell-on value is there now. Before, there's no point selling him in 2 years' time when he's got no money to sell him for. Do you know what I mean? But we'll move on from Masuaku. We'll move on.
On that one.
Mr. Craig Dawson. Now, this is one man that I can safely say has proved a lot of people wrong this season. Come in on loan from Watford at the start of the season. Let's be honest, before I get to the ratings, anyone who said that we're signing Craig Dawson when we're putting in bids for Tarkowski is, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But I must admit, he's proved a lot of people wrong this season, hasn't he, Mike?
Definitely, yeah. I was one of those doubters, mate. I thought it was a Roger Johnson mark too. But joking aside, this guy, I know he made a couple of mistakes and he had a couple of 2 or 3 poor games. But for the money we've spent on him, and I mean, he's come in, and what you got to realise is, I think he's brilliant at organising that defence. when him and Bonner are together, we look so solid and organised. The amount of blocks he's put in, I mean, yeah, if he gets caught, they went down the side of him, you know, when he was in the back four, a couple of times when he got isolated. That will happen. And I mean, what did we buy him for? What was it, 3 million or something? I mean,
2.2, I think it was, mate.
2 million. What an absolute bargain! I'll tell you, the guy has played out of his skin, and he scored some important goals. Been unfortunate with the old own goal, but to be totally honest, I'll give him an 8 because he has overperformed much more than I or most of us thought he would.
Before I ask Tom, I agree with what you're saying there. I really do. I think he's done really well. But some of the games this year, his defending has been a bit lackadaisy, like Newcastle away, for instance. Like, you've got an experienced defender there on a yellow card and he takes out St. Maximin. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, but in the grand scheme of things, he's been pretty decent. Tom, give me a rating out of 10, mate, for Dawson.
I'm going to give him 8 out of 10. I think it's been an excellent signing, hasn't he? We didn't expect him to perform like he has for us, so fair play to him. He's done a great job. Leadership qualities, like Dad was saying, he does seem to organise at the fence, and that's something perhaps, like, for example, like Diop missed it a bit. But I think he's been superb, Dawson, to be fair. I mean, you can't expect too much of him for the money, you know, his age. But that Newcastle was a disappointment. He's just doing that thing when you're trying to make up for your mistake as a defender or anyone playing football, and he's a
little run, didn't he? He had a little run of bad performances at that, right? Yeah. Like, and it just sort of, I actually think, personally, I think he was run out of steam. He needed the rest because he had played non-stop every single game since December, I think it was, the 30th.
So, played a lot of games in a row.
Yeah, so you give him an 8 out of 10.
I'll give him 8 out of 10, There's massive assets from our set pieces. Him attacking the ball in the box is massive threat, isn't it? Massive.
100%, mate. I agree. But one man that I do think's been top class this year, and I said it even on my one. I said if he stays fit, I think we get Champions League because he's been that good. Angelo Ogbonna. 2 years ago, another one. West Ham reactionaries all going, get him out. He's no good. He's not fit to wear the shirt, and now he's our best defender at the club. What's your thoughts?
Well, absolute 9 for me, mate. He's been absolutely phenomenal, and like I say, you know how good he is when he's not there, and we missed him. Those few games he was out. He don't look like he ever breaks into a sweat, does he? But he's just there at the right place in the right time. He's pretty good on the ball as well. I mean, he is an out-and-out defender, but he don't often give the ball away. I mean, there's usually a sensible pass out from the back of the defence. And when he's playing back there, I, in myself, feel so comfortable. I think, yes, you know what I mean? He ain't going to put a foot wrong. You know, he's going to clear that. He's going to get across there and win that ball. You know, they ain't getting by him there. I mean... Yeah, he's done really well, and he's one of those players again. Just getting better with age.
I agree, Tom.
Yeah, I love this guy, Angelo Ogbonna. He's an absolutely brilliant defender for us. Been in top quality signing for us, hasn't he? Since Bolin season, and he's been absolute. I'll give him 8 out of 10. Just shame he's not 10 years younger, lad. Really.
Yeah, he's mate. I must admit, because if he was 10 years younger. I
love his aggressive approach to defending. He seems like a bit like Dawson. They love defending, don't they? And he wants to get in front and win that ball back. And I like watching him defend. I really enjoy what he's always in the right position. You know, I love watching him defend.
I think his positioning is absolute first class. Not so much he's defending. Like, I think he's positional play because he don't really, as your dad said, he don't even break into a sweat, really. When I see him, I never see him stretched. Never see him stretched, really. No. Like, and a ball in behind where he's usually... I think I've only ever seen it once this year. That's against Man United at home. Like, where Rashford and Greenwood and all that lot was running through him. But let's be honest, if you've got all them running through, you're going to have grief, do you know what I mean? But, he's top class, mate. He really is. This man. Polarising character, this man. Issa Diop. I think sometimes he gets harshly treated when he does something wrong, everyone is on this man like a good one. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to progress more than he has. Do you know what I mean? It's his positional sense, and he just seems to switch off a little bit. I mean, that Burnley game, that little run down the side from Wood, he just wasn't concentrating, and he worries me when he's
bloody
on.
windy though, Dan. That was a windy night. That was. That's not easy for any defender.
Yeah, I know. And Chris Wood's a tough man to mark. I know he is. He's a good player. Yeah, I don't want to be too harsh on him because, I mean, he scores the odd go as well from set pieces.
Yeah.
You know, he's got enough pace. I think he just needs a bit more time. There's another one. I think there's a player in there, and if he plays alongside the likes of Ogbonna and Dawson, he's gonna learn and he's gonna get better. He was unlucky. He got COVID, didn't he? And he was out for a little while. So I don't want to be too harsh on him, but I'll give him a 6. I can't give him any more, I'm afraid.
Before I ask Tom for his rating, if Diop would have done what Dawson done at Newcastle, how much criticism do you think he would have got for doing that? Yeah, I just feel he gets a bit harshly treated. I do understand it. I understand that he's been here a long time and people he was good, then he's gone off the rails a bit. But let's be honest, you've only got to look at Angelo, you've only got to look at Cresswell, Pablo Fornals, everyone rates and says he's amazing. So I just think give this boy time. The only thing I will say, and I do agree, is he needs to be have a bit more aggression in his defending. He's very soft. Do you know what I mean? As a centre half, you've got to be a bit rugged. Do you know what I mean? Tom, what's your rating on Issa Diop, mate?
Yeah, I like him in general, but I'm going to give him a 6. He's done okay this season, but he hasn't been as consistent when he's played as Ogbonna and Dawson. I like him much more when he's right centre back. That Burnley game, if you remember, he was with Dawson when he was left centre back, and that's not. He struggles a bit there, doesn't he? He needs to be right centre back. You put him in there with Ogbonna, and I tell you what, it proves it would improve a lot of people playing with Ogbonna, but he plays a lot better with Ogbonna right centre back. I've always liked him, Diop. Yeah, just sometimes a bit like we're saying about Masuaku, he does seem to think there's a mistake in him. He's going to switch off a minute, If you look at the positioning, perhaps his positioning for the Calvert-Lewin goal for Everton, he was so far away from Dawson. I don't think that helped him, for example. But I think we've got to stick with him.
Does he get better with better defenders, in your opinion?
Yeah.
Just for argument's sake, we go and sign a defender.
Yeah.
Or Alves comes through and starts doing what I've been hearing and what everyone else has been hearing, that he's going to be a top talent. If, don't get me wrong, Bonner's been great, but he ain't getting any younger. And when pace is up against him, that is a problem. You've got a young 22-year-old against a 34, 35-year-old. Who's going to win that race. Do you know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying with Diop. I really do, lads. This man, I want you both to give me a rating of his overall time at West Ham, because he's left now. He signed from Corinthians for about 4 or 5 million. Give us your overall ratings for Balbuena's time at West Ham.
I'll tell you what, it's a bit unfair for this year, but like you say, for overall, I think I'd give him a 7 because he's done all right for us. He had a lot of good games. Just got found out a bit when he gets isolated as well with a bit of pace. But who done against, it was against Son, wasn't it? You know what I mean? And, the Tottenham game, and he got skin there a little bit. But, I mean, he's done all right for us. He wasn't a bad signing. I'm not knocking him as a signing. I think he's done a decent job. It is time for him to move on, and he is moving on, as we all know. But, I'm not going to knock him too much because, he's done a decent job.
Tom?
For his time at the club, I'll give him a 6. I think like Dad said, I think he's done well, to be fair. He's had the odd bad game. I remember one springs to mind, the Burnley one a few years ago away. But in the general, to be fair, he's done okay, hasn't he? Good, solid, organised, centre back, good in there, good, like we say, good at attacking set pieces like a lot of other centre backs. But just another one that just lacks that bit of pace like most of our centre backs do, and that's why I like it when Diop does play, because he's just got the legs. He's got the long legs, and he's a bit quicker than the others. But yeah, say Balbuena hasn't let West Ham down at all. When I don't know where he's going next year. They haven't said, have they?
He's been linked with a club in the Premier League. He's been linked to places in Italy, places like that. I think Italy would suit him. I think he'd be a top class defender in Italy.
Yeah,
I really do.
He wasn't that old when we signed him, was he? Was he about 25, 26 when we signed him? Something like that, was he?
He's 29 now. He's coming up 29. 29. Yeah. So, I can see him in Italy somewhere. I think Italy was the perfect game for him. Really, he's solid enough, and Italian football's pretty slow in all. Do you know what I mean? But I agree with you, lads. I really do. I think bit gutted that he's gone, but I'm hoping that they've got a signing lined up to replace him who's better than him, so to speak. This man, captain, leader, 22 years old, best DM in the world, best DM in the Premier League. Give me a rating out of 10.
Yeah, he's a 9 for me. I mean, shame he picked that injury up when he did. I think he is a Rolls Royce of a footballer. I really do. He's still learning. I just hope he hangs on with us for a couple of more years yet, and keeps improving with us. He's a proper leader as well, and a really nice. He seems another one that's a really good bloke around the change rooms. When he picks that ball up, and he's been doing it. I said the other day, he needs to drive a little bit more with that ball, and put some goals into his game. If he does that, for me, he is, he could be one of the best ever. He really could in that position. I mean, he's he's so strong. He's got that ability to just step in and take the ball away, a bit like Bobby Moore did. I mean, he's and comparing to Bobby Moore, that's something else, really. And I mean, this guy, I think now he's probably one of the first names that Southgate's going to put down on his sheet for the Euros. I really do. I remember Graham Souness slagging him off, saying when he chose England instead of Ireland, say, "Oh well, this guy won't get in the England team." Well, that sums up his punditry, doesn't it? He is a one hell of a player, I think.
Let me ask you this: with Rice, if an offer comes in for say 100 million, 110, is it worth taking this season, or do we keep him for another year? And he could get injured or whatnot. Because I think as a player, anyone going to get injured. He's proved it this season that he gets injured right at the wrong time. Obviously, I don't want him to go. I think he's absolute class. But money talks, and especially with our owners. If someone comes in with a bid, is it goodbye to Declan Rice, Tom?
Well, it's easy for me to say because it's not my money, but I would turn it down, mate. I really would. Yeah. I think we need him, don't we? I mean, it's such a big loss. You say 100 million, great money for the club, but you could get other players. But what would it cost to replace him, mate? He's such a good player for us, isn't he? I just would do everything we can to keep him. I really would. Leading us next year into that Europa League, into the new Premier League season. We got to have him in there.
What would you rate him, Tom, out of 10 this season?
I'd give him a 9, mate. I think he's been absolute quality, head and shoulders our best player. I would say, standout player. Just looks top quality on the ball. He's just he's just improving all the time, and it's funny to see all the other pundits and fans of other clubs now actually starting to realise how good he is, because we've seen him for a few years now. We knew his quality, and some other people question that, but you can't question it. His absolute quality. I just hope he has a good Euros, and it keeps up his form. Shame about the injury. The injury does, when a player does have an injury, like you're saying, it could come back and he could get injured again next year. It's such a shame because it is really his first, proper injury, isn't it, since he's been with us.
Yeah, he played literally 2 years straight without getting injured. And when does people do that? But I agree with you. He's been top class, absolute top class, and he's defensive partner, Mr. Thomas Potato Salad Souček. I don't know where to start with this geezer. I really don't. I don't know. He's been phenomenal. He has been very, very, very good. I will say one thing though. When Rice wasn't there, he wasn't the same player. That's the only thing I will say. Like and people say when he was doing Rice's job, granted, but he wasn't the same player in the air or in the attacking third either, even at corners or free kicks or anything like that. How would you assess his season, Mike?
He's had a great season, no doubt, but I totally agree with what he's saying there. When Rice wasn't there, he just didn't look the same player, I'm afraid. And you're going to miss a guy like that because Rice is just so good. And he anchored that midfield, and he gives Souček the chance to go forward and make those breaks in the midfield, hit the box. I mean, for a defensive midfielder, he scored, 9 goals and God knows how many assists. It's a phenomenal record, really. His form did sort of dip a little bit, especially when Deck won there. But I still think he was one hell of a signing. I mean, him and Coufal, they really helped pull this team together. 2 brilliant characters. I think he's an absolute top bloke. And I'll give him a 9, even though, he had that little spell where he went through, a lean spell. But even the scoring amount of goals he has from midfield, and he don't often put a foot wrong. He wins a lot of ball back. I think I was looking at one of his stats, and he's in the top sort of 5 for interceptions in the Premier League, and that tells you something about him. I've watched him play, for Czech Republic, and he's their top man. He's their go-to man. Everything goes through him. I've seen him play a couple of games for him, and I mean, I think we got to keep him. We got to keep Rice, and I think we can push on again next year.
I agree, Tom.
Yeah, I'd give him 9 as well. I think he's had a absolutely amazing season for us. 10 goals in the Premier League as a midfielder, like that's a defensive midfielder, but he's box to box, isn't he? He's got the license to get forward, which has obviously been great. He's done a great effect with the 10 Premier League goals a season. Absolute brilliant signing. And again, like I said about Coufal, right back, that centre midfield, that was a big problem for us, wasn't it, over the last few years? Again, a bit like the right back one, and he was a perfect man to come in, wasn't he, at £20 million. And just another player, just happy to have him at West Ham. I think it's a good level for him, perfect level, our club for him. And he's just on and off the pitch. You can tell with his professionalism and his staying on after training. It's just been top draw player, and cracking signing for us.
I agree, mate. I really do. I think he's been phenomenal. Like, for the money we paid for him, I think it was 18 to 20 million or something, which is like unbelievable considering that's probably quadrupled now. Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable player. This man, Robert Snodgrass, he left in January. Give me a rating for his time at West Ham. He signed, he left, he come back, and now he's left.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him a bit, really. He got offloaded, didn't he, and sent to, what was it, Villa, wasn't it? He got sent to.
That's right.
Yeah, I think he was a good bloke in the change rooms, to be honest. I think he was well liked. A good pro, I mean, and a great delivery from set pieces. I'll give him a 7 for his time with us. Didn't always start. He seemed to be good around the place. He didn't moan about it too much. He come on, he rolled his sleeves up. He gave it everything he got. Bit of lack of pace, but no doubt the quality on the ball that he had. I was at a Wolves away game, when we were allowed to go to away games the last time. And we were losing, I think, 1-0 when we got back into the game, and he was through. He just didn't have the pace to get through and finish it. It was a shame, really. But I mean, the guy's, he's tried his best for us, and he hasn't let us down. And West Ham fans will, they'll applaud that.
I agree. Tom?
Yeah, I completely agree with everything Dad said there. Really, to be honest, mate, I'll give him a 7 for his time at the club. He's been fully committed, and 100%. He's give his all, and that's all we can ask for at the end of the day, mate. fans loved him, didn't they? I think really, it's not that he scored loads of, he scored some goals for us and that, but it's his work rate, wasn't it? The fans really took to him. It must have been hard for him coming in with, a bit sticky ad from the owners, and then a replacement for Payet. There's a bit of pressure on him to fail, wasn't there?
Yeah, but, I must admit,
he done well.
Hard work with him was.
Yeah.
All right. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, sometimes he was a good player though. Even when he was at Leeds and Hull, he was like. But I think he could have scored some more goals than he did. But I think for his effort, he gets a 10 out of 10 for me, just for like being there as a bloke. Mark Noble, Mr. West Ham. I don't know where to start with this one either, because he's played a number 10, which I've never seen Mark Noble in my life play a number 10. He come in for Rice. He done really well. I thought he done all right. How would you assess him this season? Done
all right, mate. I mean, he's still there at training, driving the lads on. He's the club captain. Everyone looks up to him. I mean, he's a world club man. He's West Ham through and through. And like I said, when he's come in, he's done a decent job this year. I mean, a couple of games he got brought on, and I think, he got slagged off a little bit. You know what I mean? He didn't deserve that. It's not his fault. I mean, the guy is tried his uttermost best. And those couple of games when Rice was missing and he came in and he sat in that deep role instead of that number 10 role, like you said, James, I don't think that really suited him full stop. No. He can do that job, because he's so good on the ball still. He's great. You bring him on when you're a couple of goals up. He slows the game down. That's the problem that we have when he started in games is we can't get up the park because he slows the game down. But you can't knock his technical ability on the ball and his nous as a footballer. I mean, he's done all right. I'll give him a 7. For what he's done this year. He hasn't let us down at all.
7 out of 10. Yeah. Tom?
Give him a 6. Like Dad said, them games he came in recently when Rice injured, I thought he did a good job. Did absolutely fine. Yeah, fair play to him. But that's fine. I don't mind him coming in and play if Rice or Souček gets injured. It's just disappointing for me, which is not Noble's fault at all. Was the games when he played like the Chelsea game when he was number 10, But that's nothing to do with Noble. He's got asked to play. He's not going to say no, is he? But in the back of his head, he must be thinking, sure, I shouldn't be out there really. But he's done a good job again, to be fair, when he's come in. And I'm really glad that he's got another year next year, because it'd be great to give him a little send off on it. Fans give him some good applause next season. So yeah, glad he's got another year. And it's brilliant for him to be in Europe as well with us. He's going to absolutely love that next year, a few away games and that. And I think he'll get the old game, won't he? He's going to play a few games next year.
He'll be suited to some of those games.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if we have like a bowling season next year for Noble. Like they're all going to play their arts out for him, so to speak, like in every game. So yeah, I can see that happening with our Mark. But this man, Manuel Lanzini. First of all, we can all smile and enjoy that goal he scored at Spurs. but and it is a but. In the overall season, he hasn't been putting up trees, is he? Let's be honest, lads. Mike?
It's injuries, mate, I'm afraid, isn't it? It's injuries with him. He's never got over that bad injury, I'm afraid. I love him. I really do. I've always rated him. He's a great footballer. And I think Moyes has said it. He's probably one of the most technically gifted footballers we got in the club. That goal against Spurs, for that, I'll give him a 7 because, that changed our season.
Yeah.
That point, it was 1 point, but that goal and that point turned us around, and you could see the togetherness after he scored. I mean, that was a turning point in the season. I know it was still quite early in the season, but yeah, he came in near the end and he sat in that deep line row and he did a fantastic job. But it's the injuries that have done it for me, and I don't think you can afford to keep him, really. If we get a decent offer, I think we would have to sell him because his value's only going to go down.
Yeah, I agree. Tom?
Yeah, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. He come in at the end of the season, played really well against Burnley, and then he unfortunately got injured again. But yeah, that goal against Spurs was obviously a goal we're never going to forget. So that was a great moment for all of us. Such a shame about the injuries for him because he's a quality player. But there's a couple of games he came in throughout the season. I remember it was against Sheffield United at home. I think he came in. I played that midweek game, and to be fair, he did a job. He can still do a job, but just hasn't got the pace, unfortunately, after that serious injury. And but he could be there next year again with the Europa and the extra games. And that it's going to be so interesting to see which players we keep in there, because there's a lot of players like Lanzini that could be thinking, sell him, but we need the bodies there, don't we?
I agree. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do agree with you there. I think if it was me and I was running the show there, I'd keep him till January next year. Then I'd sell him. I think you get him through the Europa League, and then if someone comes in January, let him go. I think, and that's the right way of doing it. He's been good, but he's hot and cold. He's either very good or he's awful, and you just don't know which one they're going to turn up. He scores a worldie against Tottenham, and then he plays a game, and he's not even in the game in the next game after that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I agree with you. Really do. This man, polarising for me, and now we're getting to the nitty gritty of all the players that sort of hit and miss, and we're going to start off with Mr. Pablo Fornals. First of all, before I ask Mike and Tom for their ratings, I want to ask even the people in the chat, where is Pablo Fornals' best position? He's played left winger, number 10, central midfield, defensive midfield this season. Mike, what's his best position for you?
I'll tell you what, he only spent a short time in this position, right? He played defensive midfield because there was no one else left, I think, in one game about 3 or 4 games ago. And he did a tidy job in there. Yeah. Although he scored 2 good goals, don't get me wrong, and he gets in the box, he often arrives in the box at the right place and the right time, but his finishing a little bit to be desired. Say that after he scored 2 goals on Sunday, but how many has he scored this season? Was it 3?
5 in the end? 5?
It's 5 goals and 3 assists, I think it is.
Yeah. I mean, I said it. I think I might have said it on your show before. I think there's a player in there. I really do. I think he's got something about him, but it takes, for some players, it takes longer to come out. But I can see something there. There is something there that I think he can be a decent player. And I think he's one of those that's a bit of a slow burner. He's done a decent job. Job. He probably does need to hold down a position. And I don't think he's a number 10 because I don't think that's, although that's where he has played a lot of his games further up the park. But we'll see with him. I think he's done all right. I'll give him the 7, but he could have done a lot better. Yeah,
I agree. And that's the rating I actually give a 7. Yeah. Tom?
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 too. He's he's had a good season. I can't really say he's had a great season. He scored 5 goals and he's worked his socks off for the team and the club, and the fans like him, don't they? He works hard for us, and we appreciate that. His finishing worries me a bit, and sometimes there's been quite a few times this season actually when he's had a shot, but he could have actually passed it, which annoyed me a bit. So he can be a bit of a frustrating player, but he's got fantastic touch. Technical ability right up there, isn't it? He's a decent little player, but like you say, he's that position. Where would you play him? He does such a good job out wide because he works so hard back, which obviously Moyes loves it that he works so hard and he runs. Doesn't he? Moyes said when he came back, if you want to play, you've got to run, and he runs, doesn't he? And he's one of Moyes' favourites. But he does frustrate me a bit, but I can't really knock him too much, to be fair, because he gets in positions like Dad says. Just sometimes his shooting a bit weak, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just think, what are you doing, mate? Put your foot through it sometimes. But he's done well for us, to be fair, and another good squad player for next season, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if he scored some goals, more goals and more assists, then I would praise him a lot more than I do criticise the man. I just think when you're an attacking player, I know running backs all well and good, but we have got to judge him on these forward-thinking passes and goals, and I mean that's what especially if you're playing as like a 4-2-3-1 sort of system, and you're one of the three with the striker, you've got to be an influence. Do you know what I mean? If we signed a better left back, then I don't think we'd need him. Like, do you know what I mean? But that's another story for another day. But yeah, Jared Bowen. I said it on my one last night. He's the one who has disappointed me this year. Like, he's all right, but he's so inconsistent for me. He's very good, then he goes missing, then he's good, then he goes missing again, then he ends up being good towards the end of the season. How would you assess him this year, Mike?
Yeah, you're dead right there. He's been very inconsistent. I mean, some games he's been absolutely brilliant, and the next game, well, he just don't go anywhere with the ball, does he? He runs across the pitch and ends up losing it, or has to come back again and runs down a blind alley. Again, I think it was a good signing at the time. Had a good season last year. Hasn't really bumped on from this year, but I still think he's another good squad player to have around.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd give him a 7 for what he's done this year, but he really should be hitting an 8. After the year he had last year, but he hasn't reached that this year, I'm afraid. But European football next year, more games. Maybe he can kick on again. He's a young lad, isn't he? He's still got his
good age
in front of him.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well, mate. And I'd love to give him an 8. His first full season in the Premier League, he's scored 8 goals for us, I think, isn't it? 8 goals.
Yeah,
it's not a bad return. I know he's obviously a wide forward player, but I just expected a little bit more. Like, I was so excited when we signed him last January, and to be fair, he did well when he came in, didn't he? So you just expected a little bit more from him this season, but he scored a few goals against Wolves early season, didn't he? And then he's just been a bit inconsistent, but I like watching him play, and it's another. I know I keep saying it, but he works hard. He's just another good team player for us, and another good player going into next season. He seems to really enjoy playing for the club, which is great. Yeah, I like watching him play. Like Dad says a bit about, he cuts inside and he runs across the pitch, but yeah, I like him, mate. I rate him, to be fair.
I think my pet hate with Mr. Bowen is when he puts his head down.
Yeah,
he don't look up. He don't look up where anyone is. And recently, over the last sort of 6 weeks, he's been looking up with Lingard and co.
Yeah.
But before then, it was like his head would be down and he'd be just running, and wherever he ends up, he could end up in the stands. Like, he just don't know where he's going, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? But I agree with you there. I think a 7's fair. I rated him a 7 and all. It was a high 7 for me. And I agree. One man who come in and tore it up is Mr. Lingard. Now, he's left. Now, whether he will return, I'll ask you that in a minute. But first 10 games, he was phenomenal. Ballon d'Or winner, by all accounts. Yeah. And the last 5 wasn't so great. How would you rate him this season, Mike?
Well, he was a 10 to start with, wasn't he? And then he turned out to be about 6 or 7 at the end. I'll still give him 8, because what he's done for us was lifted that team. He came in and he was phenomenal. I think maybe he run out of steam as well a little bit, to be totally honest, because he played every minute of every game. You could just see him getting a little bit tired, I think, towards the end of the season. Obviously, when he came in, he wanted to make a big impression. He wanted to shove one at Man United, didn't he? He wanted to get back in the England team. But I think he fitted in really well with all the lads. And, I think it looked like he genuinely enjoyed playing with us. I'll give him an 8. He should have been a 9 if he'd have kept going the way he was. Or he could have been a bloody 10 if he kept going the way he was when he started. But, I'd like to sign him. I really would. I would like them to get the checkbook open and sign him, because he looks like he was enjoying being about the place. I think he'd bag a few more goals next year as well, with European football as well, the squad. He's one I'd like to see in it.
Do you think, Mike, before I ask Tom, yes or no, do we sign him?
I've got to be honest. I think Moyes really wants him. But, so I'm just hoping that our owners, for once, backs our man. I really do. Yeah. I won't be shocked if we don't sign him, mate. Don't get me wrong, because I know our owners, But so I think we should, and I bloody hope they do. Yeah,
Tom, what's your rating of Lingard, mate?
I'm going to give him a 9, mate, for the goals, mate. The impact he brought to us, he gave to us. 9 goals, 16 games, isn't it? He played 16 or 15.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
5 assists, mate. I mean, you imagine if he played all season, he would, he'd have double figures, wouldn't he? To be fair to him, he's been absolutely superb for us. It's been great watching him play with so much confidence. Obviously, especially early on, the debut against Villa, that two goals. To be fair, not great keeping on either of the goals, to be honest, mate. And if they didn't go in, it could have been a different story from West Ham. But he's just fitted in with the lads so well, and he seemed like he's really enjoyed it. So it's been great to watch, mate. Highlight for me, definitely that Wolves goal that he scored. That was just superb, mate. That dribbling ability with such pace. It was absolute top quality, and really enjoyed watching him play for us. And I will be disappointed, mate, if we don't sign him, to be honest. It will be disappointment for me if we don't sign him, but just don't know, do we? We just can't tell if we're going to sign him or not.
Do you think we will, though, Tom?
I just hope, hopefully, mate. I hope so, but I wouldn't put a bet on it,
Yeah.
Moyes, obviously, like Dad said, Moyes is going to be desperate to get him signed, and I think Moyes is going to be disappointed if we don't get him. Yeah,
I agree. I really do. Me personally, I don't think we do. If I'm honest, I think I don't know why. I just think saying he's going to come with it, and they're going to say, "Well, no, we're going to go a different direction." And nothing would surprise me with our owners, and I do agree with you, lads, on that.
Yeah.
This man, Saeed Benrahma. I've been backing him up for a long time. People were criticising him, said they wanted him sold in this summer. First season, signed from Brentford. I think a lot of people thought we was getting Dimitri Payet 2.0, and they've got to realise something. Dimitri Payet was a top assist maker in France before he arrived at West Ham. And Saeed was doing well at Brentford, but he's not Dimitri Payet. Mike, what do you think,
like him, as you know, mate. I think he gives us something else when he's on the pitch. I think he hasn't been treated that well by Moyes. I don't think he's had a fair crack at a whip. When he's on there, he gives us something. I think he just needs to run a games. I mean, it's a case of saying, right, you got the next 4 or 5 games. Just go out there and show me what you can do. He's looking around all the time because he think if he does start after about 70 minutes, he knows his numbers coming up. I mean, and he makes one mistake, and you can see Moyes' head shaking. That's the only criticism I've had of David Moyes, who's had a brilliant season. I don't think he's treated this guy with respect, or not respect. He hasn't treated him right. That goal we scored against Brighton could have got us the European football. I think I said at the time, everyone was saying, "Oh, we should have beaten Brighton," and we all know what Brighton are, a beaten bogey team. That just shows the class the guy's got, given time and given chances. I can't give him though. I'll give him a 7, but I'm sure he could have been an 8 or a 9 if he was given the chances.
Yeah, I agree. Tom?
Yeah, I'll give him 7, mate. I think his first season in the Premier League. I think he's done well enough. I know he's only scored 1 goal, which was obviously a brilliant goal for us against Brighton. 7, 8 assists. Was it 7 assists in the end?
6 assists, 1 goal.
Was it 6 in the Premier League? Was it?
Yeah.
Set some, good goal for us, doesn't he? To be fair, the important goals, But love watching him play, mate. And it's great to see him on the pitch playing for us because he's just got brilliant ability and skill level. It's great to see him, but just unfortunately he hasn't had that run of games I think Sonny Lingard hindered that a bit, to be fair, because if you remember, like the Leeds away game, was it Leeds away and the Palace away game? He played. He started. He was in kind of
the Palace away game.
Brilliant. He was
quality.
The Palace away game, mate. He assisted Antonio 4 times, and Antonio at the post, the bar, everything else other than the goal. And I agree with you, mate.
I look forward to watching him next season, mate. I think he's on that good level, like similar kind of level to Bowen and Fornells. So in the last game when I seen he wasn't starting Benrahma, wasn't that as disappointing as I sometimes have been, because I know Bowen's playing, and Bowen's sometimes perhaps unfairly been left on the bench. So big season from next year. I think he can really flourish in the all the competition we're going to be in next year. And that Europa, he's the kind of player he needs to be playing in Europe. To be fair, he's got that much ability. Benrahma, he deserves to be playing for West Ham in the Europa League. And I look forward to watching him next year, mate. I really do.
So do I, mate. If I'm honest, I think next year you're going to see the emergence of him. I really do, and I say that quite openly. I think he's a class act, and I think like we've got this man at a time where we can develop him into something very special, and I really do believe that. This man, Sebastian Haller, left in January. Give me a rating, lads, of his overall time at West Ham.
Overall, he's done all right, mate. I'll give him a 7. I mean, he scored some good. Well, look at that goal against Palace. I mean, that was probably goal of the season, He's against Sheffield United. He never in this world was going to fit a David Moyes team. He just did not put the hard work in, the half graft in. He wasn't that type of player. He was never going to work, and it was the right thing to do to get rid of him. But I'm not knocking him, because I think in a different team, in a different setup, which he's proved, he's a good player. But it was never going to work for him once David Moyes came back. He was Pellegrini's player, and even then, it never worked with him in Pellegrini. So I'm not blaming him, because the guy, he scored a few important goals, actually.
He did.
If you put it on a plate for him in the box, he'll finish it. There's no doubt about that. But with David Moyes, with the setup, with the way we're playing, he needs someone up there who's going to go and rough up centre halves and put in sprints from one side of the pitch to the other, and that's not him.
So what's your rating, Mike?
I'll give him a 7 for his overall time with us. I would.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rip him to pieces, because it's not his fault. He did not fit the system.
Right, Tom's turn. Give me a rating, Tom.
Give him a 6, just a 6. I think, to be fair, just made a 6. Just like Dad said, not really his fault. He didn't suit West Ham. He didn't suit the Premier League. More for me, it's the Premier League. The physicality of it. He lacked the aggression, which disappointed me. Like when we first signed him, I was really excited about watching him, and he could tell almost straight away he just didn't have that edge to himself, did he? Like a bit opposite to like Arnautovic, he's got that aggressive edge, and he just didn't have it, and he was always going to struggle. And he scored some cracking goals, and he's got some real ability. To be fair, the first touch can be quality, often wasn't for us, unfortunately, but. If you had some of that with him, like Antonio in that Southampton game we went to, remember, Dad? We beat him 3-1 the season before. He looked a player, didn't he? But on his own up front, was always going to struggle to work, wasn't he, mate?
Never going to work.
Yeah.
I agree with his mate. I think he was. I was disappointed that he couldn't make his time at West Ham worthwhile, in my opinion. But another player who's on 100k a week and stealing a living is Mr. Yarmolenko. Mr. Yarmolenko. Personally, I think it's time to go. I think it is time to go with this man. I think he's done his time. What's your ratings, Mike?
Oh, I can't give him no more than 6, mate. I mean, he just hasn't.
You're being kind.
I mean, yeah, he's another one that didn't fit this system. Full stop. He comes on and he flatters to deceive. I mean, he scored that great goal against Chelsea. That's why I'm giving him that 6. Because
it was last season.
Oh, that was last season. Yeah, sorry, it was. Yeah,
season 4.
No, the guy, the guy is just he's got to go. He's one of mine. Whatever we can get for him, he's got to be on his bike. I'm afraid it ain't. It's never going to work with him with Moyes anyway. So it's a shame because there's a guy there with a lot of ability, but him like Haller just don't fit the system.
I agree, Tom.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5, mate. He came on in games. How many games did he start? Was it Brighton at home he started at, like up top with Bowen?
I think he started about 4 games. 4 games this season.
Yeah, but didn't perform in any games really, did he? No. I like what Jake said the other night when he said to you, James, about more stepovers and breathing.
Yeah.
He struggled. Yeah, so we can get off that wage bill. It was over 100 grand a week. Is not
Jake
right.
Said to me, "Who's rated him the lowest so far?" And I said, I rated him a 3 or 4. I can't remember what I rated him, but I thought there's no way I'm giving him anything decent. But I agree with you. I really do. I just think he's run his race for us, in my opinion. And he's got to go. This man, our only striker at the club, Mr. Mikel Antonio, 10 goals this season. Misses quite a lot. Shoots from miles away. What's your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, for a striker who's not a striker, he's done all right. I mean, he's a winger, isn't he, basically? And we've just turned him into a striker, and we've just shoved him up there because he works the system. The system works with him there because he grafts, he puts himself about. He's had some games where he's been absolutely brilliant. Then he has another game where, he just, he couldn't hit a barn door. That's the way he is, I'm afraid, I like him, the fans love him because he works his socks off and gives everything he's got. And I think at West Ham, fans will always applaud a guy like this. He's done a job for us and he couldn't do any more than what he's done, really. His finishing, when he's got time to think about it, it's not good. When it's just instinctive and he just turns and shoots, it's all right. But he is not a natural goal scorer, and we need another centre forward. I want to see him playing up there with someone else. Yeah. I really do.
Yeah, we did.
I'll give him an 8 for what he's done this year. He couldn't have done much more than what he's done. For the player he is. And he gives it everything every game, so fair dues to him.
8 out of 10 for Mike. Tom?
Yeah, I'll give Antonio a 7. I love this guy. He's going to be our record goal scorer, hopefully, not in too distant future. But it's the injuries, guys, really, and it's setting back again this season. 10 goals and 5 assists. 10 goals, 5 assists, 26 games. To be fair, he's done well enough, hasn't he? And some games he looks like Dad said that Wolves away game before he got injured looked unplayable. Wolves home. Some of the games looks just like when he's on it, he's such a handful. And the Sky pundits often said, don't they? You wouldn't want to be marking him. No. But it's just some games that's just disappointed me this season. Like some of the big games. I remember the Chelsea. Sorry, was it Chelsea when he started? I can't remember now. Sorry, but there's a few games. Sorry, Liverpool. Sorry, Liverpool. I remember Liverpool home when he was fit. Liverpool away he missed, didn't he? Haller played, but Liverpool home he's fit, and he just, you think, here we go, he's going to cause them some problems. I mean, it's not his fault if he hasn't got the service, but some games when he just doesn't quite look on it. But he's done okay for us, to be fair, and he's done well. 10 goals. I mean, 2 seasons in a row now he's got 10 goals for us in the Premier League, and not many players do that for West Ham today. Over the years,
I agree.
So, good on him, mate. And let's hope he can stay fit next year and play a lot more games. But we definitely need 2 strikers, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's done okay, but there is games where he gets man marked at the game. Like Everton comes to mind straight away. Yeah, Mina had him in his pocket all day and night and bullied him, really. And I agree with you. I think we definitely need a striker who's better than him and should be starting. And Antonio should be benched next season, coming off the bench, causing havoc then. And certain games, do you know what I mean? Right. I've got 3 questions to round it up, and these are my own personal questions. And this one first. The best performance of the season. Now, this could be a player's performance or a team performance. I'll start off with Mike. What's yours, mate?
I think the Wolves 4-0, mate. I mean, honestly, we've struggled like hell since Wolves come up. We've already go against them. And that game was a big turning point. The Leicester game was close as well. But the Wolves game, we were phenomenal. We absolutely battered them, and that was a statement, a real statement, and, it was one of those things, I mean, the Lanzini goal and the comeback against Tottenham was great, but for that was only 10 minutes. I mean, for 90 minutes, I think that Wolves game.
Wolves game for Mike. Tom?
Yeah, I disappointed Dad said that because, exactly the same. Wolves home. 2 years before this, played Wolves 4 times, lost 4, I think conceded 6 or 7, didn't score any. So we didn't score any goals against Wolves in 2 seasons. And we beat them 4-0. And that was the starting point in the season when after the first 2 disappointing defeats against Newcastle and Arsenal. That win was absolutely massive for our season. Without that win, well, we wouldn't have beat Leicester 3-0 perhaps. I can't say for sure, but that 4-0 game against Wolves was that's just a massive lift.
It was like a springboard, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like a springboard for us to sort of go on.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, and even though Moyes wasn't even in charge that night, it was Irvine.
Yeah.
So I've got this question for you: GSB summer winter transfer windows. Right, I'll break it down to you. In the summer, we signed Kufal, Souček, loaned Benrahma, loaned Dawson. In the winter, we made Dawson's loan permanent, made Benrahma's loan permanent, signed Lingard, but we let go Haller, Snodgrass. How would you rate both of them? Summer window and then winter window. Over to you, Mike.
I think the only thing, the summer window, yeah. The winter window, we needed another striker badly. And that's what's let us down. I think we'd have got Champions League with another striker.
Yeah. I believe so.
Look at it again, it was another 3 points. You're not going to win every game. And things like the Newcastle game happen. Things like that happen throughout a season. Summer window, very good. The winter window, there was good things about it. Obviously, like I say, Jesse Lingard and whatever. Some that was a great signing. But we just needed that other striker. And it didn't have to be the best striker in the world. It could have been a Danny Welbeck type or someone like that. He knows where the net is, a proper centre forward. So, I mean, I mean, that could have really polished it off. It could have. It could have polished it off and got us Champions League football. So it wasn't bad otherwise. You know what I mean? Yeah. They just missed out on that. I mean, really, we needed 2 strikers.
Yeah.
We didn't get one, but one would have done, I reckon.
Yeah. Tom?
Oh, mate, but going back to that winter transfer window, that was every day looking at it, we were linked with them. As the days went on, it was just coming more and more likely we weren't going to get a striker, and that was really frustrating, wasn't it? But that Lingard deal, that couldn't have been easy to get over the line, to be fair. There must have been other clubs interested in it, Lingard. So fair play to him for that. It's just such a shame we didn't get another striker. Going to the summer window, very good, mate. The recruitment was good, wasn't it? But perhaps we could have done with another player, like, for example, left back or centre midfielder, but obviously COVID. The squad was a small squad, mate, wasn't it? And we could have done with a couple of extra bodies, in my opinion, and most people's opinions, I imagine. But and again, going back to the winter one, I bet you Moyes was offered plenty of strikers, but obviously not up to the standard that he required. And to be fair, us as fans, you imagine if we could have, all the strikers we signed over the years and the little goals they've scored. So
it's not
fair,
even...
when Bowen went up there, he scored a couple of goals. He did it right, to be fair, didn't he?
Yeah. It's just that one game, like one win, a game like even the Brighton game. If you turn that into a win, it's possible Champions League there, isn't it?
2 points away,
and I agree. Like, I think the winter window was a missed opportunity. It didn't show any ambition, in my opinion. Like, it was the best position we've ever been in. I think it was fourth in the league like at one stage, and in January. And I agree with these lads. I really do on that. And finally, this question: Moyes and his backroom staff. I'll give you a little summary quickly, and then I'll let you have a little rating. For all the stuff he's done good, he's done stuff, some mad stuff, some weird team selections, setups. He's found Mark Noble as a 10. That makes no sense. He set up against Brighton with like 8 defensive-minded players, went to Manchester United and set up so negative. But in the grand scheme of things, he's done a lot of things good. Mike, how would you rate him and his backroom staff this season?
I think they've done well. They've done really well with the players they had. I've got to be honest. I must admit, I questioned a lot of the bloody lineups when they came out, and I thought, "What are we doing today?" But probably out of 5 or 6 of those that I questioned and he did get wrong, 4 or 5 of them actually we won 4 or 5 of them. So I'll give them 9 out of 10. All of them, not really, for what they've got, because we all agree, we were short of the squad. We had 3 keepers on the bloody bench. I mean, it was getting a bit of a joke, wasn't it, at one stage? The squad was so thin. They would make doing and mending, wouldn't we? At times, we were putting people in weird positions. But overall, I remember when he came back and we won. Was it 4-0 against Bournemouth?
Yeah, Bournemouth.
Yeah. I watched that game.
New Year's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah. I was, and I was there watching the game at the ground, and I said to my other son Nick, I said to him, you could see the difference from the Pellegrini team. We were closing people down. It was so different. I know Bournemouth were poor on the day, and they tried to play it in the back, and he thought Eddie Howe that day. We closed them down, and we looked totally different. And I said, this is a good thing getting him back. I said they look like they all want to run. And they all want to put it in, and they all want to roll their sleeves up, and they have a go. We know we haven't got the most gifted players in the world, so we got to make up for it in other ways, and he has done that, and that is what he's done. He's turned them into a unit, and he's turned them into a proper bunch of guys that all want to win for each other. And sometimes that, you know what I mean? You look at Leicester a few years ago, look what it did for them.
I agree, mate. I really do. I think what they've done bad, they've done 10 times good. And they've done a lot of stuff good. Tom, what's your rating on Moyes and the backroom staff, mate?
Yeah, I'll give them all them guys a 9. Done a great job for us, haven't they? To be fair, finishing 6th in the league. We would have took this, wouldn't we? So they're a massive part of that, aren't they? David Moyes speaks so well. Enjoy having him as our manager, to be fair, and the staff he's got with him, like Pearce, and obviously Shane Irvine stepping down a bit, but Nevin, they all seem to really enjoy it, and obviously enjoy bonding with the players, and they've all done a really good job for us, mate, and it's been great to see them all getting on so well, and hopefully Moyes can get his contract sorted out, because I think he is the man to lead us into next season and the season after. I mean, he's done well this season. He deserves another couple of years at it, doesn't he? I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I think they should give him a chance. You know what I mean? He's done enough now, and I think it'd even be more of a bigger insult if we turn around and say thanks, Dave, but no thanks, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? But I agree with you there. I think to round it off, that he's done well, and he deserves to be given money and trust from the fan base. But that's it, lads. That's your 2020, 2021 player ratings. Before we go, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on today. I really do appreciate it. It goes a long way. I want to thank Mike for the stuff that I've done with Mike over the last sort of 4 or 5 months. Jake's channel, this channel, etc. Any final thoughts, lads, before we wrap it up?
Before we wrap it up, mate, I want to thank you, because through these weird times, things like your channel have kept a lot of people going. I mean, without it, you know, there was nothing to look forward to. We're all been locked up in our bloody living rooms, you know, going bloody, you know, pulling around. And you've done a great job, mate. Not just you. I mean, all the channels. You know, I go on a fair few of them and make some comments now and again, or have appeared on them. And I think you've all done a brilliant job, mate. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on, mate. It's enjoyed it. It's been a good little hour and a half discussion about it all. No, enjoyed it. Cheers, mate.
Nah, that's all right, lads. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, that's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to do something new. I want to get fans on and get their opinions. Like, it's okay talking to someone for a keyboard, but I'd rather speak face to face about something we've all got a common interest in and love for. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, listen, it's been fun. Like, it has been really good, and I really enjoyed you lads coming on tonight. I really have. So, yeah, I really do appreciate it. Right. That is it for Mike and Tom's player ratings. I will be back in probably about 34 minutes. I've got Irish Tommy on, which will be fun. I've got Irish Tommy, and then I've got stateside for one more person from the States, and then I am done. I'll see you in 30 minutes, people. But thanks to Mike. Thanks, Tom. Take care.